Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in to another exciting Firehouse session. This is Abby, and I am very happy to be here with Will and Elliot of Cincinnati, Ohio-based alt-country project BillyFortune. Thanks for being here.
No, thank you for having us.
We're going to have the chance to talk more with Will and Elliot, but first, will you start us out with a song?
Yeah, of course. This is probably one of maybe the first songs I ever tried to seriously write. It's called Silverton. You ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Conversations that we had never quite crossed my head. Conversations to be had, what's inside my own head. They tell me best be getting along. Coming here was so wrong. In search of my daddy, I think he was called Silverton. I went into the motel and I said, had you seen him? He said, oh well. He told me, you best be moving along. Coming here was so wrong. Best be moving along. Coming here was so wrong.
You've been listening to BillyFortune here on WFHB. That sounded great, you guys.
Thanks.
Welcome back to Bloomington.
Yeah.
When was the last time you were in town?
The last time we were in Bloomington was actually, we played a house show here. It was pretty close to IU campus. And then prior to that, we got to play Burning Couch last year. And that was a lot of fun at Switchyard. That was cool.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
I remember seeing pictures of that.
Yeah.
Well, your album, Be Sincere, was released in November 2024 via Humdrum Press. And we had it in rotation here at WFHB. What was it like making this album?
That was just a really fun weekend, essentially. When Max of Humdrum hit me up and he was like, yeah, I want you guys on the next stack we do. Originally I was going to record everything like at my place, like on my 4-track, which is kind of what I did with the first release. But then I hit him up and I was like, you know, Max, I'm such a fan of your productions. I'd love to have you like produce it and record it. And one of the engineers who's also with Humdrum, Nathan, had just bought this like super nice like Fostex 8-track tape machine. So we went up to, I'll say Chicago, but it was really Lamont. We went up there to record in the studio, Picture Minded Studios. It was like I think we were like the second band to record in there. So it was like,
wow, that's great.
They were kind of letting us use our space, letting us use their space. So we got to record in this like super nice studio, using Nathan's equipment, and we pretty much hammered everything out in like 3 days.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny, like the studio's in like the back of like a School of Rock, which is in like a complex. So I remember we would like finish a song and then we'd go like to the grocery store that was like connected to. I wish I remembered the name of the store, but we would go there and like get like snacks and then come back. And I mean, yeah, we were there. Like we would get up, get there, and be there all day. And that's while we got 6 songs done in
That's
3 days,
amazing.
which it was fun.
That's great. So it was very different than in the past with your other recordings you did at home.
Yeah,
yourself?
I mean, yeah, at home I was I had just bought this like 4-track. It was just like a Tascam 4-track cassette recorder, and I kind of had just done it because I was just starting to get into like artists like Townes Van Zandt, and I was getting really into like the singer-songwriter stuff, and I was like, I got this 4-track, I might as well use it. So I basically cut like 6. Really, they're like demo quality, but I made 6 songs. And yeah, I just like from there, I was like, I actually really like this. And so that was when I was sending it out to people, and yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy recording or playing shows more? Is there one you prefer?
I think both are very exciting. I think when you get into the studio and you're making your arrangements and stuff like that, and you're picking the instruments, and you get those like aha moments when something really works, like that to me is like beautiful. Like, I don't know, when you get those just moments in the studio, I think that those are really precious. But then like getting to go out of your own hometown and go play out of town, and even the shows that you do get to play in your city, like that's one of my favorite parts. And it's been like we've gotten to play we also play in some other projects, and we've gotten to play in a bunch of different cities, and that's, to me, like I think later down my life, that's probably what I'll be like remembering, is just the fun times with my friends playing shows, and remembering all the goofy moments and stuff like that. That's so, to me, it's hard to pick, but I think they both have incredible qualities.
That's
really.
great. You like it all. That's well, I really like the name of the album.
Yeah.
Be Sincere.
Be Sincere.
What inspired that?
I want to say it was I there for a time I was really into like kind of B-sides from like the 50s and the 60s, and I want to say it was like something maybe with some it might have been like a Dion record or something like that, but it was like a B-side, and I think it was, how they used to put like a name and then a slash and then another name of a song.
Yes.
And I want to say it was something like, "Won't you be sincere?" And I saw like that, and I was like, "That's just, it's so, I don't know, something about it's just cute."
Yeah,
to me. I don't know.
Nice. It's hopeful. Or,
Yeah.
Well, I think now would be a good time for another song.
Yeah.
If you're ready.
Yeah, we can
Great.
go ahead and play "Be Sincere."
Oh, wonderful.
So we'll do that one. All right. Ready? 1, 2, ready, play. Drive down your lane to catch a glimpse of what's been. Writings on your walls catch me at bay till I fall. 'Cause I'm just a fool, can't believe it. 'Cause I'm just a fool,
hardly breathing. Won't you be sincere? I've cried enough to make you think I couldn't be here. The gray in your hair makes me feel like I've already been there. 'Cause I'm just a fool, hardly breathing. 'Cause I'm just a fool, can't believe it. Won't you be sincere? Cause I'm just a fool, can't believe it. Cause I'm just a fool, hardly breathing. Won't you be sincere?
You've been listening to BillyFortune here on WFHB. I love that one.
Yeah.
Did you grow up listening to country music?
Yeah, I grew up it's called a little town called Coshocton, Ohio. But if you know Columbus, Ohio, it's an hour and a half east of that. And if you drive down that road, you'll actually see, it's in like Newark, Ohio. But you know like the old Longaberger baskets that used to be a thing?
Yes.
So it's like a landmark every time I go home.
I have been there, actually.
Yeah, like the huge basket.
Yes.
Yeah, you've seen it? Yeah.
Yes, I
yeah,
have.
So if you keep going 40 minutes, that's where I live. So,
oh, very cool.
Yeah, so like Eastern Ohio. Yeah, I think I had kind of grown up really digging. I mean, my parents were always showing me like Waylon Jennings, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson. I kind of just grew up on that stuff, and it was actually kind of weird. Like when I was a high schooler, I was like rebellious, and I was like, I hate country music, like and I think that maybe at the time that's because I was listening to the wrong type of country music or what was popular. I was like, I wasn't vibing with it. So I don't know. It's to each their own. But I basically was just like, I don't like this, and so when I went to college, I got really into I got really into like a bunch of like I guess indie artists you can call them, and then about like 2 years ago, that was when I really when I kind of had found about the genius of artists like Townes Van Zandt, and like now I've been really digging on like Bob Dylan and Joan Baez and all that stuff, and really like and even Willie Nelson, like he's such a great songwriter. When you like really like listen to the songs that they all wrote, it's kind of like remarkable how just how like well crafted they are.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I basically was just massively influenced by a lot of that stuff, and yeah, so kind of went on. Sorry if I went off on tangent.
No, it's great.
But yeah,
that's what we want.
that's kind of how I came to be with my project, and yeah.
Did you grow up in I mean, you said your parents were into music. Did you grow up in a musical family? Are there other musicians?
Yeah, so my family is not musical at all. Actually, when I told them I wanted to go to CCM, which is the Conservatory of Music for UC, they were a little bit adamant because I had just taken my LSAT to go to like law school.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I did mock trial in high school, and so I was like, I went to a school up in Columbus, and they had a law school, and I had like it all set up, took my LSAT, got my score. I mean, I did pretty good. And I was like, Mom, I think I want to go to music school. And she was like, oh my gosh. My brother was really into, he's always been in plays, and he's a great singer. He's a choral singer. So other than him, my grandma though, my grandma was always like bought us instruments and stuff.
That's
So I
neat.
was one of those kids whose mom made them take like piano lessons when they were in 5th grade.
Yeah, that's what
and
I was
then-
going to ask you.
Yeah.
When did you start
Yeah,
playing?
I started playing in 5th grade, and then I actually really had no intention of doing like anything other than that. But my 8th grade teacher like pulled me in to play jazz. He's like, "You're gonna play piano in my jazz band, whether you like it or not."
Oh,
And
I
was like,
love it.
And I was like, "Okay, Mr. Wagner, I guess I'll play in your jazz band." But and then in high school I did band, and I like started taking guitar lessons, and then really since I've been in CCM, that was when my major is music production. So that was when I got really into
cool.
like songwriting and working in studios and doing that kind of stuff. And that was when I think I started to like really kind of take it a little more serious. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're doing music.
Yeah. Yeah.
How old were you when you wrote your first song? Do you remember?
I probably would have been maybe 17. No, I think I was about 18 or 19 when I first like really started to I remember being like, I was one of those dudes out of high school, like I loved like Mac DeMarco, and so like I was just like I'd get like loop pedals, and I'd put on my chorusy tones, and I'd try to like make something kind of like him, and I was just like trying to like live through that. And then I think I came up with like this one song, and it was funny when I moved to UC, I was just trying my hardest to find a band, and I went to like and that's actually how I met Elliot, and pretty much everybody who's in my band, I've met them either through school, or a lot of them I met at like skate parks. I would just be like, "Hey man, do you play an instrument?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, sure." And I'd be like, and then I would just like, I remember like shooting DMs, like I basically slid into the DMs of all like my bandmates, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to be in like my band? I have some demos. Like, do you want to listen?" And then from there we played a lot of shows under that group, and some other ones too. I've recently been in like a hardcore group, which is
cool.
like so funny when you're playing like a folk like bluegrass set
Right.
at this little town, and then the next thing you know you're up in Columbus there's this venue called Dirty Dungarees, but it's like a laundromat that has hardcore, and then you see people like throwing themselves through like walls and killing each other. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's kind of I'll say it's fun. It's fun when you get to play a bunch of different genres, because I mean
Yeah.
you get to see it all, which is
All
kind
the-
of
yeah.
fun. Yeah.
How did you connect with Humdrum Press?
So like I said, I made my first EP. And I remember Elliot, he actually played drums on some of the stuff in it, because I was just like, "Hey man, do you like dig this?" And you were like, "Yeah, it's cool." So we basically recorded the EP, and I dropped it to Spotify under myself, and I just was shooting it out to like whoever was willing to listen. And Natalie, who's the singer of Prairie Scout here in Bloomington, she ran like a student radio station, and I remember shooting in her in the DMs. I was like, "Hey, like, you know, if you could just take a moment to listen to this and maybe play it on your radio show here and there, that would be a lot of fun." And then she did, and she was
Very
like, "This is
cool.
really great." And so her boyfriend, who is Max, who is the owner of Humdrum Press, she put him onto my music, and from there the rest was history, essentially. So
Well, that's very cool.
yeah, so I guess the lesson to be learned is, if you don't be afraid to, what's that Michael Jordan quote?
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right.
That's true. I mean, really
Yeah.
though, it's like, as an artist, you're already putting yourself out there a little bit by writing songs and singing singing about what you think and your visions, and to even do the more and put yourself out there to like people who can give you kind of a platform is really awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, tonight you are playing at the Buzzkirk Chumley
Yeah.
with Prairie Scout and Brick Lancaster. What should we expect from your set tonight?
I don't know. I hope to create. Usually I would have a bigger band with me, but it's it's a 2.5 hour drive, and people are in school. So I think for me, with the way that we're gonna sound tonight, I think I'd like to create like a just kind of intimate moment, intimate set. I think that would be kind of the main goal for tonight. And like I said, some of the artists I've been really digging, like, I mean, Towns has like an amazing, he was like pretty much one of the best, I think, like solo performers that there was. And so, I mean, when you get a lot of that like solo performance, I think there's just kind of a natural beauty to that.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I'll try my best to to capture that. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like we have time for one more song.
Yeah. So we'll do one more off the EP. This is My Mountain, My Mountain. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, play.
climb before I'll die. Silver and gold won't buy me no time. Watching it all from my little town below. I ride on down to the river that does not flow. So don't you cry, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Don't you cry, Lord, I'm coming home to you. I feel the fall winds creeping up behind, laced up in the kin where I once lied, acting in his tribe as if he does not know. I fall behind the eyes of the crow. So don't you cry, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Don't you cry, Lord, I'm coming home to you. It's been a long summer. It's been a long summer. So don't you cry, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Don't you cry, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Don't you cry, Lord.
You've been listening to BillyFortune here on WFHB. Where can our listeners connect with you and find your music online?
Yeah, so there's Bandcamp, BillyFortune on Bandcamp. It'll be BillyFortune on pretty much everything else. I think my Instagram handle is @BillyFortune if you want to follow me there. And yeah, that's where you can reach me.
Amazing. Well, Will and Elliot, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. This has been awesome.
You can see BillyFortune tonight live at the BCT with Prairie Scout and Brick Lancaster. Doors open at 6:30 and the show starts at 7. If you can't make the show, you can tune in to WFHB between 7 and 9 because we'll be airing it live on the radio. This is your host, music director, and Firehouse session producer, Abby Neruzzi. And I'd like to give many thanks to our general manager, Jar Turner, engineer Mike Crastle, videographers Brian Boucher and Eric Barlow, and to you for tuning in to WFHB.